From the sidelines, we gotta hustle because we gotta eat.
What up, what up? This is Drew Lieberman, and welcome to the Sideline Hustle Weekly Update. It's been a minute since I was in front of the camera with you guys. We've been a little bit dark. We've been on the grind. We've been in the trenches with our clients. But we're back. We want to kind of share our perspective into the NFL with you guys. Like, what we want to do with these weekly updates is just get on the mic once a week, talk to you about the guys we're training, talk to you about some of the plays that were made or not made on Sundays, and sort of just like the narrative specific to the Sideline Hustle family that come about each week. For those of you guys who don't know, I realize it's been a long time since I've been in front of the camera, been in front of the mic. A lot of you guys who might be following don't even know how we got here, who I am, what the Sideline Hustle is. But I've been coaching wide receivers. This is like year 13 now, I think. Coaching football, coached at Wesleyan University, coached at Rutgers, coached at Albany, coached at Don Bosco Prep. At some point during all that, decided to start making content about wide receiver play, the specifics of wide receiver play, some of the fundamentals. Started posting on Instagram probably 6-7 years ago. Started a podcast 6-7 years ago. And even though I had coached in the Big Ten, at one point I was the youngest coach in the Big Ten while I was at Rutgers, and kind of thought I was going on this career path to, be a coach at the highest level in the traditional sense. Took a different route, started to kind of see some white space in the business I could take advantage of and that I wanted to be involved in as far as just the, kind of educating the audience about football and about the nuances of the game. So we started the Sideline Hustle. We started making content back in 2017. And during that time, around 2019, 2020, I trained my first ever client, Juwan Winfrey, and he got drafted to the Denver Broncos back in 2019 in the 6th round. And at some point soon after that, Mohamed Sanu found the content and basically hired me full time to live with him and train with him. And he was the first like major client. He went to Rutgers. I didn't coach him at Rutgers, but we knew a lot of mutual people. And he saw some of the content, as a lot of the my future clients did, and kind of found some people that through word of mouth and got to know me. We worked out a couple of times, and basically the rest was history. He had me move into him with Atlanta. Spent the last 3 or 4 years of his career with him in lockstep, day to day. And really what that did was, I learned how to coach football and the X's and O's and kind of the art of receiver play. I learned a lot of that while I was at Rutgers, while I was at Albany, while I was at Wesleyan, like from different coaches. I had a lot of really great mentors, which, we'll talk about at another point in the show. But then when I moved in with Mo, it gave me the day-to-day perspective. I got full access into the reality of an NFL player's life. Full access into, what are the factors at play that actually affect his success. The off the field habits, the mental work, obviously the on field training, but there's so many factors at play. And Mo really gave me the opportunity to live with him and see those things firsthand, and then build a system based on the factors that really were at play, build a system that could help to control some of those factors, help to account for some of those factors, and help build success. So then since then, started working with Mo in like 2018, 2019. Now since then, we work with Evan Engram, we work with Jakobi Meyers, Darius Slayton, worked with Cooper Kupp before he had the big 2,000-yard year or the 1,900-yard year in the Super Bowl run. We worked with, Brandon Ayuk, Calvin Ridley before this year, some bigger names. But really it's been built around, we've been built in Atlanta. It's been built around Jersey-based clients, Atlanta-based clients. After Mo, there was Olamide Zaccheaus, who's now on the Eagles, who's been an undrafted kid that I've been working with for 5-6 years. Demir Bird was a Jersey kid that had a nice 8-9 year career who's still kicking around on practice squads and still making a run at it. Jeff Smith he was on the Jets back in the day. I met him through some BST clients. Like those are kind of, Chris Conley, old school Georgia Bulldog. He's in year 9, year 10. Been working with Allen Robinson the last few years. We'll get through all these clients, but those are kind of the guys it's built on. I've come across a lot of receivers in the NFL. I've worked with everyone from Odell Beckham to Julio Jones to, kind of take your pick of the last 10 years. Like I've been blessed to work with a lot of guys, but really what these weekly updates are going to be focused on is the week-to-week, day-to-day narratives of the guys that we work with full-time, we work with in lockstep, which is, the top guys that you probably know the names of are Evan Engram, Jakobi Meyers, Allen Robinson, Darius Slayton, Olamide Zaccheaus. Those are like our top guys. And we have some guys who are 4th and 5th receivers on their team. They're more role players. They might be practice squad. We have some guys who are in these different roles, not quite the main starters yet, but they're building their way up. And so, by working with these guys full-time, full year round, I really am blessed to see a really unique just perspective of the NFL, a very real perspective of the NFL. I get to see what it's like for a guy like Allen Robinson, who's grossed, $100 million in his career, made multiple Pro Bowls, and been a superstar. And then I get to see a guy like Olamide Zaccheaus or Jakobi Meyers, both undrafted guys who I've been working with for years, kind of overcoming the odds. OZ is trying to find his way on a championship level team and elevate that culture and establish a role there, which he's doing a great job of. And Jakobi is developing himself into a true number one receiver in this league and going out and he's, producing incredibly in Vegas, helping them win games, making plays every week. And then there's the Darius Slayton. His narrative is different. Work with a kid, Noah Gray. He's a young up-and-coming tight end for the Chiefs. There's just so many different narratives, so many realities that I deal with on a day-to-day basis. What we want to do with this show is just share those with you, right? So tomorrow is going to be tomorrow is Thursday of week 7. Evan Engram, our top guy, he's playing the Saints on Thursday Night Football. So we figured we'd wake up on game day and kind of just do our first true weekly update, which will be going through the week to week and talking about the narratives for each one of our guys. For a preview, like Jakobi Meyers played the New England Patriots and beat the New England Patriots this last week, a former team of his, a team that didn't offer him a contract in free agency, which all, creates different emotions for you and kind of a different tone to the preparation. So I'll talk about how that affected us, how we accounted for that. And Kobe went out and scored the first touchdown of the game, went for 70 yards, blocked his ass off and won. So that one feels a little better than most wins. Evan's playing, tomorrow on Thursday Night Football. We'll talk about how our week was affected. We generally want to get these shows out on a Tuesday. The reason why it's late this week is because our week was fucking crazy trying to prepare for Thursday Night Football and cram all the preparation, all the work into 1 or 2 days. So we'll just talk about the reality of it. There's just we've been dark for a while. I feel like something I prided myself on with Sideline Hustle in the beginning was just presenting the real story to the people, showing the truth of football, of what goes on behind the scenes, what the actual training entails. And then obviously for all the young wideouts out there, all the young football players out there, we're going to watch film in these episodes. I want to educate you guys about the game. I want to teach you guys the game. I have so much to teach you. I mean, we've developed such a crazy following with Sideline Hustle, and I haven't posted consistently in 2 or 3 years. I've learned so much over the last 2 and 3 years. We've developed our system so much. The way we think about things, the way we approach things, everything is better. So I'm excited to show you guys that. I'm excited to basically just to use our players and use our family as the medium to teach the game and give a realistic perspective into the NFL. And it should be fun, man. If anyone who knows me and is familiar with the content knows that I can get crazy and knows that shit gets a little wild. I'm looking forward to that. I'm looking forward to getting fired up and talking about the game. But most importantly, I'm really just looking forward to providing the real perspective and providing the reality of what's going on behind the scenes with some of my clients and what's going on behind the scenes and the reality of an NFL wide receiver, an NFL tight end, and all these different things. We dealt with a huge free agency this last offseason, which we'll talk about. We have a documentary coming out about that where literally Jakobi Meyers, Evan Engram, Darius Slayton, Olamide Zaccheaus, Allen Robinson got traded. All those guys were free agents. A-Rob got traded. We had a crazy offseason we could talk about. Again, it's just a blessing from my perspective. Anyone who's followed me for years, I started this shit out the mud. I started this literally coaching, in high school, coaching D3, coaching at Rutgers, creating my own content channel and kind of creating content that never really existed before, the way we broke down the game. And all of that swelled into me training, 15 to 20 NFL players a year, full-time, year-round, really intense work, 365 days a year. I never really thought it would have manifested into this. I never really thought that this would be the end result, but it's a really incredible place to be in. And, the last 2 or 3 years I had to black out and go silent and perfect the craft and get the results from my guys. And I'm happy to say that we actually have some pretty cool results to talk about. We've had some great success and we've helped, as my assistant coach Noah tells me, we've helped redirect careers. And I think that is what I take the most pride in what we've been able to do with the Sideline Hustle and the actual NFL business, working with our guys hands-on, is we've been able to take guys whose careers are going one way and redirect them here, or take guys who are kind of plateauing and help them keep ascending. And I think that's something I take a lot of pride in. We've worked with some guys who are more so deemed projects or underdogs, and we've helped fight through all the noise and all the bullshit to get to the point where now guys are ascending, guys are playing well, guys are making really great plays on a consistent basis, and then we can build from there and ultimately see how good we can be. Ultimately, I think the goal of any athlete and any coach is to get the opportunity to maximize your potential in your career and have the opportunity to just be able to rest at the end of the day and say, I got the most out of myself. And I think the worst feeling is feeling like you left something on the table. So I think being able to help guys fulfill that is ultimately my goal, being able to to help guys get the most out of themselves and be that partner with them in this journey of pushing their mental, pushing their habits, pushing their accountability to themselves and to others, their understanding of the playbook, everything, their day-to-day lifestyle. What we do is not just on the field. The field work we do is great. The system we've built for coaching receiver play is incredible, and I think the most detailed in the world. But that's really like 20, 30, 40% of what we do. The majority of what we do is helping to develop these guys as men and as people from the ground up, from the way you wake up in the morning to the way you go to bed at night and everything in between, to the way you talk to yourself, the way you think, what you're reading, what you're eating, who you're spending time with. Everything to really make it in this game and at this level, everything in your life needs to be centered around the main thing and needs to be helping you reach that end goal. And I think, a huge commonality between the success we've been able to have is a lot of the guys that I started working with had things that were not helping them get to the end goal. They were taking away from it. And the first thing I do is just come in and quiet the noise and come in and remove some of those things so that they can just, play with a clear mind and play with a clear heart and allow their talent and their potential to shine. And then from there, it becomes all of the kind of the day-to-day adjustments of how to make their routine better, how to hit this release better, how to attack that DB. There's plenty of day-to-day things, but the overall, just like building a lifestyle, building a structure for these guys so that they even have the chance to see their potential and the chance to get the most of themselves. So many fucking guys in this league are held back by themselves and their own habits and the environment they grew up in or the teammates they're around. And they don't even really get a chance to put their best foot forward. Evan Ingram's a great example of that, and we'll dive deep into him. But like a kid who's playing unbelievable football right now, playing as one of the best tight ends in the league, and 3 years ago, guys said he was a bust and couldn't catch. And a lot of that was not because he was actually a bust and couldn't catch. A lot of it was these self-inflicted lifestyle issues and mental issues that he was dealing with that we had to clean up. And like from the day I met him, I knew what his potential was and what his future could be. I didn't know if he would commit to everything it was going to take to get there. And thankfully, I can sit here now and say he's committed better than I ever could have imagined, and we're getting the results. He just got paid a big contract, and now we get the privilege of he's taking care of his family. He's taking care of himself. We've redirected his career. Now we get the privilege of pouring everything into the game, and we can see how good he can be. And I'm doing that with a few different guys, and there's a lot of different factors that are individual to each guy that we'll be able to talk about and explore. And, that's what the show is going to be. It's going to be a lot of fun. It's going to be really real. I'm going to be, basically off the cuff every week just based on what the facts are. It's not anything predetermined. It's not anything scripted. Like, we just out here flowing, talking about the reality of our guys, trying to help make our guys better. And we're finally in a position where I feel like we have everything solidified on our end. And we have a great system to where now we can talk about it and share it with you guys and get back to really educating the world and using football to help change the world. So, that's always been the mission. That is what we're going to do here. And that's a wrapski. Sideline Hustle Weekly Update. Your boy Drew Lieberman. I'll see you tomorrow. Game day for the Jacksonville Jaguars. We'll kick off all the kind of narratives into each guy heading back into week 6. Peace.
From the sidelines, we gotta hustle cause we gotta eat. From the sidelines, we got some goals that we still gotta reach.